Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's show. I'll tell you what, like I do each and every week, we are down in the Detroit River and with our good friend Jason Julien. Hey Jason, from Church Tackle. You know, this is a pretty cool thing. The last time that I fished the Detroit River is back when I was fishing tournaments, which is around that 08 period. And you know what? This is an amazing fishery.
It really is. There's a lot going on here.
You know, hey, Jason, let's talk a little bit quick before we set all our stuff up today. Now, you and your wife bought Church Tackle a few years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Okay.
From Bill Church, the original owner.
Okay. That's got to be pretty exciting, huh?
It really is.
Yep.
Big change of pace for us.
What is your vision for this company?
Just to uphold the quality that's been there and keep it in the United States.
So we're going to talk more about Church Tackle, obviously, as the day goes on, everybody. Hey, so let's tell everybody what we're going to be doing. We're actually going to be trolling today, obviously, with planer boards, and we're going to be running a bunch of different baits. I've got a bunch of the new Reef Runner 900 series, which is a very cool bait. So I'm going to be running that to start the day off.
Yep.
And you're going to be running a few other brands. But really, why did you pick the spot that you picked here?
A little bit less current. So you're looking for just a little bit less current than the general river. And shallower, just it's easier to troll.
Okay.
So those are kind of two of the things that you're looking for.
Hey, you know, I always think about this time of year when you start thinking about these fish are done spawning. They're coming up on these flats, and warm water is the key because they want to rejuvenate themselves. And the warmest water that they can find is the quickest they can rejuvenate their system. Hey everybody, hang on to your heinies. We got a lot going on today, and I hope you guys enjoy our show. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Remember what I told you. When you get down there, don't become friends with any walleyes. All the mission is to hook them in the lip and lock them up. Look as sexy as you think you can look and get the job done. Good luck. I didn't even get my third bait out, and I got one on. Oh, I didn't even get that baby back to where she needs to go. Having a pep talk with your lures makes a big difference. Oh, walleye! Yes, indeed. It's a little cold on the fingers this morning. I told you it would work. I'm telling you, when you're fishing these fish, you cannot beat a reef runner. Nice fish right there. I got another one on. This feels like a good fish to take the old clicker off. Oh yeah, another walleye on the Reef Runner. The old 900 series, look at that baby. Oh, it doesn't end. I'm loving it. We haven't been out here 5 minutes. I never even got my third board in. I'll tell you what, Jason, this is a pretty good bite. I mean, we've got about 7 minutes into this show so far.
This one just popped.
Okay, and already that's 3 fish on. Oh, that's a nicer one right there. That's a good fish right there. Gotta love that, huh?
Gotta love it.
Holy shamoly. We got the burn going this morning. The burning fingers. Whoosh, God. You don't get a lot of days like this when you start off, and we already got 4 fish in the boat. We've probably got 12 minutes into this run already. That is gonna warm things up and it'll be rock and roll time. See what we got here now, folks. What? It is the walleye. Oh, you know, let's talk about that, Jason. I'll tell you what, that's the key to having that flag go up when you get a fish on. Why don't you explain to everybody about that? Now, that's a small fish, and I really had a hard time telling if I went to see that flag go up, knowing that fish was on there, I could have drugged that fish a long ways. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so as the flag goes up, it kind of draws your attention a little bit better. To me, you see the flag first, and then the board moves. There's a fish right there. That looks like a better fish, Larry.
It does look like a good fish. Oh, this is a better fish. Definitely got some solid weight on that, Jason. You know, the key is when you're trolling is never to pump that rod, you guys. I see so many people pumping that rod, just nice consistent turns on the reel so that fish really doesn't know anything differently is happening. Always back up, give you the guy in the back a chance to be able to handle that board. And watch how he does it. He never snaps that line. Reeling smooth, never again. Not like you're salmon fishing. When you're salmon fishing, then you're pulling back and forth, but consistent weight. What is that? Big smallmouth?
Smallie.
On the reef runner. Woo-hoo! Big smallie on the old reef runner. Another fish. There you go, big girl. I'm using the walleye boards. What boards are you using?
I'm using the TX12.
Now, why are you using the 12s?
Just a smaller board, less resistance as you're pulling fish in.
Okay.
But still will pull all your deep diving crankbaits. Kind of great for most walleye applications, actually.
Where is he? Nice. Look at that. The second I touched that fish, the bait was out of his mouth, popped it. But the fish is right where he belongs, in the bottom of the net. Hey, again, this is part of that new 900 series. I got an 800 and a 900 series. This is definitely a new bait for reef runner. Instead of having that curved shape to it, it's a straighter bait. It's got a very unique rattle to it and wobble. When you see this bait in the water, I'll tell you what, it's very, very unique. And that's a lot of times when you're fishing fish that are high pressured fish that have seen a lot of baits, doing something and using something different is going to make a big difference. Hey Jason, let's talk about the Walleye board, what you have in your hand right now. It's kind of a unique board as far as you have a few options as far as how you can hook your line to it and what kind of performance you want to get out of that board. So let's break it down. I mean, you're an expert on this. This is your company.
So we'll start with the adjustable weight. That's probably one of the key features to it. The farther back that weight is, it kind of makes the nose ride a little bit higher, makes that board handle lighter. And as you slide that weight forward, it's going to drive that nose down, kind of make it take a deeper bite in the water. For walleye gear up to say 3 to 4 ounces, I run mine all the way back all the time.
Okay.
But when you start running, say, more salmon gear or heavier walleye gear to get down deeper, above 4 ounces, and then clear up to your lead cores, your short coppers, your more salmon gear, that's where they start putting the weight farther forward. Okay. You'll see most of the salmon guys are going to run their weight all the way forward.
Because there's so much drag in the back
and
right
they
there.
want it pulling out as far as they can. Okay. Where walleye guys in general are running the weight back. That's how I've always ran them. On this, we have the lockjaw clip. So a swing arm clip, very quick to put on, very quick to take off.
You know, the cool part about this release is that line cannot come out of there. Correct. Because when you do, see this tab right here, everybody? When you push this down, it goes into that slot right there. So as long as that release is pushed down, when you get a big fish on or you snag up on something solid, that line is not gonna come out of there. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And this was actually designed for braid. So that's the clip kind of designed for braid. Of course, you can use it with mono, and a lot of guys use it with mono, as I do. So with our double action flag, the reason it's called double action flag is you could either run it so the flag is up and the fish pulls it down, or the flag is down and the fish pulls it up. And then with the double action flag system, kind of our unique tensioning system, but every click is stretching that spring, putting a little bit more tension on it, or vice versa as you go this way. And that's just super easy, super adjustable to go from either crankbaits to harnesses or whatever, but it's really that easy.
That's interesting. You know, and again, you know, a lot of times when you're pulling in different conditions, obviously you want to adjust that tension on that clip for sure, because if it's super wavy out like that, super rough conditions, there's going to be a lot of that back and forth surging. So that's when you would tighten that up
Back to fishing.
Back to fishing. You guys hang on to your heinies. I hope you're learning a lot, and I hope you guys are enjoying this week's show. Hey everybody, this week's tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. Hey, this week we're fishing with our good friend Jason Julien from Church Tackle. Hey Jason, I know with the planer boards, you definitely have a lot of good tips. And let's give somebody at home a great tip so it can make their fishing experience a lot better.
So one of the things we get questions on is how do you clear boards?
Okay.
And so a tip that we found that makes it really easy to clear a board, take your rod, take it and actually put the rod tip in the water.
You're actually putting it in the water, okay.
And you can see how it takes the board right out of place.
It's actually pulling that board right to the back of the boat.
That increased drag on all the line pulls that board right out of place. That's all I've done is just put the tip in the water, and now it's super easy to clear your board.
And you don't have to worry about your board catching your other lines.
Yep, you're not gonna tangle.
Yep.
So just a nice little easy tip to clear boards.
Looks like another good fish, huh?
Does.
Who said trolling wasn't fun? The mini TX12 mini planer board. Ripping her up today. Another one bites the dust.
Feeling good. Nice walleye, beautiful day, fun fishing.
When your partner's got a fish on, it's always good so that your partner doesn't have to reach back so far. It's always good to have him slide up as far forward as he can possibly slide. Nice.
Boy, you're good at netting today.
I am good. What do you mean? I'm always good at netting. There you go, Jason, inside, huh? Hey, people always ask me, how far out should I actually run my boards? You know, and there's a lot of different scenarios on that. You know, as far as the distance out behind the boat is, you know, I typically always run my outside board the shallowest, because what happens is them are the fish I feel that are going to be affected by the boat the least amount. So the outside's the shallowest, and then as I come in, I go deeper with my baits. You know, when you're in a scenario like we're running here, there's a number of boats in here, so that's a factor too. You don't want to run your boards way out because there's other people fishing in here, and you don't need to. Right now we're fishing really stained water, and that's a huge thing. You don't have to run them boards a long distance away from the boat if you don't want to. Keeping them tight like that is going to be effective. The time where you want to really run these boards out as far as you possibly can is when you're in really clear water. That makes a huge difference because the electronics will spook the fish, the trolling motor at times will spook the fish, and obviously just the boat in general. If you're in dirtier water, you can keep them boards in a lot closer to the boat. If it's really clear water and calm, the farther out, a lot of times the better you're gonna be on that one. Let's see what we got on this one. I didn't even get all mine out, and right away you've got one on here. Not pumping that rod, not radically turning that reel handle, just nice and smooth like this. The great part about these boards is too, you can, it's always nice to have somebody else take your board off, but you can do it yourself too because it's so smooth and so fast. So what I do, I leave out about 1.5 foot of line, 2 foot, and that board comes right to me. I got my finger in the back right here, so I catch that line right there. Now I'm gonna go to my back clip like this. Again, smooth is better. See how easy that was? That's the great part. Again, not snapping that line, coming back and just making a smooth transition. Right here we go. Right there. Woo, nice job. Nice and smooth. But again, the great part about these church boards is that you can take them off yourself, you know? And again, it's just simple, easy, smooth. That's really what it's all about.
Kent Anderson here with Warrior Boats, and I'm excited to tell you about the 2024 Warrior Cash Program. You're going to find out that we are committed to you, the tournament angler, and it will pay to fish out of a Warrior boat in 2024. With Tier 1 events, you're going to take home a $7,500 check if you win out of a Warrior boat. Tier 2 event, take home $5,000, and Tier 3 event, you're going to take home $2,500. Go to warriorboatsinc.com, drop down the Owners tab, go to Warrior Cash, and find out all the details there.
Introducing Forever Barnwood. Transform your space with the warmth and character of a genuine barnwood look. Forever Barnwood offers over 200 authentic barnwood products. We are commercial and food safe. Our products are available in unlimited quantities while still providing the consistency you need to complete large projects. All of this while still looking like it came out of a 100-year-old barn. Forever Barnwood. Bring the history inside.
Hey Jason, let's talk today about some of the things that people ask you about when you go to shows, that some of the biggest problems they have when it comes to trolling and using a planer board.
So one of the biggest questions I have is, why are my boards diving close to the boat? And almost always it's rod tip height. So
having that rod up too high.
Correct. When you get the boards close to the boat, you want to keep that rod tip low, because if you get the rod tip too high, it tips the boards like this, because the line height is going straight up.
Makes a lot of sense, and it just dives.
As soon as it turns that way, it just becomes a scoop. So if you keep the rod tip nice and low, get the board 3 to 4 feet off the rod tip, then bring it up in the boat, they'll come right in without diving.
At the end of the day, typically I just throw my boards inside my storage area, but there's a great tip that you have when it comes to storing them, especially when it comes to the clips.
So our lock jaws and mini lock jaws, you always want to store the clips unlocked or open.
Why is that?
Because if they're stored shut or closed like that, pretty soon this plastic just gets that memory and they don't want to spring open anymore.
Okay.
So you always want to store the lock jaws or mini lock jaws open.
Let's talk about the tension, as far as what kind of tension you should have on your flags, as far as knowing if it's too loose or too tight.
So what I always tell people is, if you're in, you know, like a 2-foot chop or 1.5-foot chop, as you're trolling, if that flag is pulsing just a little bit, that's the perfect tension for your flag system, because at that point, even a weed is going to show up on that flag.
And hold that flag just back a little bit.
Correct. You'll be able to see that there's a weed or a small fish or anything. So kind of a great little way to know that that tension is right.
And that's the cool part about having the flag system like that, is it tells the whole story. If your bait's working right, it tells if you have a small fish on, or if you have a weed on, it's that there is an issue with that board and it needs to be pulled in.
Yeah, if there's a weed on your lure, you're not fishing, you're wasting time. So it's a great way to know that that bait is actually fishing out there. So for lure color selection on the reef runners, nice bright sunshine day, try to look for chromes that'll throw a reflection back. Or a dark, kind of dingy day, overcast, go for darker colors.
Another one, see that flag up? Like I said, you know, I'd rather have the flag come up when I have a fish on versus it going down. This is a new rod too by Meg's Custom Rods, you know, our good friends over there. They're making a trolling rod now, something to add to your collection. See how it is? Just sets it there, doesn't let it snap. So many times guys let it snap, and that's exactly when that fish comes off, right? Because you're popping that line back, right? It's the last thing you want to do. I'll tell you, the reef runners are definitely tearing it up today. Love seeing the rear of that planer board sink down like that. Here we go, nice fish. You know, one of the keys to getting fish out of nets is this, what I did right there, reversing that net right away and letting that fish drop out of there and letting that bait hang there, versus leaving it in the hoop and trying to pull it out that way, where that bait can obviously get caught up in the hoop of the net more. I always just go with a regular snap. I'm not a snap swivel guy. I prefer to go with a snap, and I'll tell you the reason why is that obviously a snap is going to give that bait a lot more action, so I never tie it direct. The other part is that what I like to do is I like to put my swivel up about a couple feet, because the swivel actually will catch all that debris. And we have on the line now is a bunch of cotton, what it looks like on there. And if otherwise what would happen is that would slide right down to the bait. And a lot of times that'll change the action of the bait. And plus, obviously, fish do not like to bite baits that have a lot of debris on them. So again, putting that swivel up above there, you know, obviously keeps your line and keeps the bait from running straight, but it also collects any kind of debris that's gonna come down your line like that. So here's a key thing too when you're hooking up your church planer boards is obviously my front clip, I'm gonna shove the line as far back as I can get it, close the clip up. The other thing is, like when I'm using the flag system, is that I'm gonna leave a big loop in my line here. I don't want my line tight like this back here. I wanna leave about 6 inches of line loose like that, put it in the clip, and away you go. That's gonna allow that line to be able to move back and for that flag to come forward like that. So make sure you guys leave some line slack in there between the 2 releases. You know, Jason, what a fun day we had. It's been a long time since I've been on the Detroit River, and it's still the fishery that I remember for sure.
It's a great fishery. I'm lucky to have it pretty close to my house.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I hope everybody learned something about today's show as far as planer boards, proper techniques, way to troll. You know what, watching the show is all about learning things, and I hope that you guys learned a bunch. We had a whole lot of fun here, and I'll tell you what, Jason, thank you. If you guys want to check out more things about Church Tackle, how do they do it?
ChurchTackle.com.
ChurchTackle.com. Hey, like we do each and every week, we always want to thank all of our military men and women for the great service they have given this country and continue to give this country, along with all of our firefighters and paramedics, and no doubt all of our law enforcement agents. Hey everybody, it is a great day to be alive, and thanks for joining us this week. And the best part, we're going to see you guys and gals again next week, and God bless. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us, and it was a great day and it is a great day to be alive. Hey everybody, it is a great day to be alive, and thanks for joining us this week. The best part, what the heck, right? Hey everybody, I forgot what I was saying.